Hi ladies, good evening. This is Arlene. I'm making this video because some of you have had trouble with the crocheted earring on the bracelet or the hoop or whatever. This is one of the hoops that I was using, the one with the latch. And this is the bracelet. As a matter of fact, I have a few bracelets here. These are the smaller bracelets. These are for like maybe a 5-year-old little girl with a small wrist. These will give you a smaller hoop, and they're so beautiful. I almost just want to give them to my granddaughter so she can wear them, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. We'll just buy her a home set. These are the adult hoops, adult bracelets. I found these 50 pieces of bangles. I know my light is flashing in there. I don't know if you can see it, but they are toned in black, gray, and then silver. I almost don't want to crochet these either because they're just gorgeous. And they come in this little pack, and I got them from the street vendor for, let me see if you can see that, $8. 50 pieces. Okay, this is a pair of earrings I made with the small bracelet. And it's a pretty cool design. It's very easy to do. But first I want to show you the stuff that I use to make the bracelets. These are Miyuki Japanese beads that I've been telling you girls about. And they are pretty expensive. You could use a cheaper bead, but these have the larger hole and they're not as difficult to thread on the thread. And these are number 5. Very hard to find this size in other brands that are less expensive. I did find some that are square in the firemountaingems.com website. You could try getting them there, and you get 20 grams. And this tube right here, I got this from the craft store. And this one has, you see, it's I don't know if you can see it very well. It's a size 5, and you get approximately 20 grams of beads. And they are Miyuki Japanese beads. Okay, now for those of you who have the smaller beads, this is what I use for my smaller beads, like for the crow beads, those little tiny beads that come in different colors that we used to make necklaces with when we were kids. This is a very skinny, very flexible, thready wire. What I do is I cut a piece of this, and as soon as I get an end here, I can show you. It cuts very easily with a regular scissor. I'm going to cut a piece just to demonstrate to you what I do to get this to work for me. I take a piece of wire. Let me move the stuff so you can see it better. Take a piece of wire and I close it together, and just to give it some sturdiness, I fold it again, and then with my pliers I hold the tip and I wind it up. I keep winding it up until I get a loop that will fit my thread through it. And here's a piece of thread. I'm going to show you how it works. Sometimes I have the number 10 thread, which is a double ball. This is the number 10 thread. I use two balls because I like to double it up because it's just too thin for my frail hands. And then what I do is I put the thread through the loop like this, and then I'm going to close it up some more so that the thread is on there tight without slipping off. And I want the the loop of the wire to fit through the bead, so I'm just going to smash it up a little bit. And I'm going to smash that up, or even better yet, I'll just take my scissor and cut it away. Now I can easily take my beads and slip them through with no problem. Because most of the time when your bead is the smaller bead, it does not fit through the head of the needle. So this is what I use because it's just much easier. It's you don't have to fight so much. Okay, and what else was I going to show you? I have here my, let's move that out the way. I have my jump rings and my hooks so that I can put it on the earring like this. Now when I single crochet around the hoop, I do not slip stitch to close it. As you can see, mine is open and it's holding on there pretty tight. It's not slipping off. It's doing okay. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to thread. I have to close the video out now because this is an AVI on a regular digital camera and I don't have that much space on my SD card. So in my next video, part 2, I'm going to show you how to single crochet around the hoop. Be right back. Hi, I'm back. Okay, here I have to show you lots of goodies. I have lots of different colored threads. Some of them are size 10, some of them are size 3, which is my favorite size because it's much faster to work with than the number 10. For example, this size right here, this is a number 3. This is the Lydia's Fashion Crochet Thread. And this size right here is a, what do I have here? This is number 10. And this is the difference in size. That's the difference in the size. I don't know if you can tell or not, but it works up a whole lot quicker than the number 10. The number 10 thread, which is this one, I usually double it up. I use 2 balls. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate with 2 balls of the number 10. I'm going to use the green. Let's put that other stuff away. And I'm going to use the smaller hoop. This hoop right here, it came with the set that I showed you earlier with these little tiny shiny bracelets. In this set, I have a variety of different shapes. This one right here is perfectly round. It's smooth and round. This one here, it's flat, but it's still narrow. So you're going to get a nice, it's not going to interfere with your stitches. Okay, so we're going to use this one. And what I'm going to start with is a loop on my hook with 2 strands. You're going to do your loop like this, and then I'm going to take my needle, which is a D 3.0 or a C. I sometimes use a C, but in these recent days I lost my C hook, which is another one of my favorite hooks. And we're going to take the hoop. Now this is a perfectly round bangle bracelet. This doesn't have an opening, so working on it is a little different than working on this type of earring, because as you go along you can open this whenever you need to open it, and then you can close it when you need this little thing to be out of your way. So turning your work over on the other side, it is a little different. I'll show you. how this one works on the round hoop. So I'm going to single crochet around my bracelet like this. I'm going to make the same thing I made on this hoop right here, which is, this is actually the larger hoop. This hoop right here, I made 70 single crochets around it. This is the child size bangle. So I'm going to make 70 single crochets around. And I'm going to do this all the way around till I get 70. So I'm going to come back when I'm done with this, and I'm going to show you what the next step is, okay? Be right back. Okay, ladies, I'm back, and I did change my mind about the color I was using because I decided at the last minute to show you how to mount the beads on the bracelet. And I already threaded my beads. There they are, right there. And I already single crocheted my 70 stitches around the smaller hoop. If you're using the larger hoop, which is, I think it's the 2.5 or 3 inch hoop, let's measure this one. I have my tape measure right here. This hoop is just a little less than 2.5 inches. That's the little baby hoop. And the larger hoop is about exactly 2.5 inches. Okay, so I put my single crochets around the hoop, and I threaded my beads, which I did before I started crocheting. It's the first thing you do because it's much easier this way. And you should put as many beads as you think you're going to need. If you don't know how many you're going to need, it's better that you put plenty so that you won't have to unravel your project because you ran out of beads, and now your work is not even because you have beads on one side and you don't have beads on the other side. So it's best that you put what you think you're going to need and a little extra. Okay, so now this is what we're going to do. I single crocheted on my hoop and I left it open like this without slip stitching, and we're going to chain 3. Actually, we're going to chain 2 because we want it to work in. Then we're going to flip our stitches towards the inside like this, but in a comfortable position where you can still crochet. You don't have to flip them all the way in. You can leave them sort of like this. And we're going to count 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to first, let's slide our bead up. We're going to slide a bead up to our stitch. We're going to put it behind the needle, and we're going to start our double crochet. There it is right there behind the needle. And we're going to put it in the 4th stitch. Okay, so we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to continue our stitch. And there it is. You crocheted it right in there. Now before you start your stitch again, before you yarn over, you're going to pull up your beads. You can put them up your hand, you could put them up like this if you can manage to keep them out of your way when you don't need them. I usually just put them around my finger like this. And before you yarn over, you place your bead all the way at the top of the stitch, and then you yarn over so it can land behind your needle, and then you finish your stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you see how those are getting in my way, so I'm just going to move them out of the way, and then I'm going to finish my stitch. Now I'm going to get my next bead and I'm going to slide them up, and then I'm going to count 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I'm doing also is I'm trying to keep the needle very close to my stitch so that the stitches can come out kind of snugged. You don't want your stitches to be loose as you're working inside the circle. There's the other bead, and now I'm going to count 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the next one. Yarn over. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I know I picked a white thread with this white background. I hope you can see where the stitches are. There's the next bead. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to put a stitch there. And this is what you have so far. Now when you flip your stitches inside the ring, that's what it's going to look like. Please make sure your stitches don't get twisted. Make sure that they are, you see how this looks over here? If you accidentally crochet with that twisted like that, you're going to get a totally different effect from what we're trying to do. So make sure that everything is facing the same way, all the way around, even if you're not there yet. And here are the next bead. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to continue this all the way around, and I hate to interrupt the video, but I don't have a lot of space on my SD card. And it's just a regular digital camera. It's AVI format. I'm looking into getting a better camera, but I haven't been able to yet. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to come right back and show you how to do the next row. Okay? Be right back. Okay guys, I'm actually at my last stitch, and I'm going to show you how to do the last stitch on the round. And we're going to put the bead behind the needle like this, push it all the way up, yarn over, and we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And here I actually have 5 stitches, so it didn't get divided very well, but 1 stitch is not going to make too much of a difference. If you have 1 extra stitch all the way at the top, just put it in the last stitch. It's not going to show, it's not going to make too much of a difference. And we're going to do that last stitch there, and then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to remove our needle from the loop, and we're going to flip everything inside, turn everything inside, and we're going to pick the needle up. Before, you were crocheting this way and you had the needle and the thread in your hand on the top. Now you're going to have your loop at the bottom with your thread at the bottom of the hoop and your needle on the top. And you're going to do the same thing, but you're just going to do it from the bottom. And that little tail you have there, you're just going to move that tail out the way. Now you're going to slide your bead up. I have 2 beads there. I'm going to move one of them. You're going to yarn over. You're going to get into crochet position. And what you're going to do is you're going to skip that first one, which is the one right there, and you're going to go into this one. You're going to get your next bead, slide it up, I normally would do this faster, but since I have to keep my hands in the camera at a certain position, it's slowing me down a little, but it really isn't that difficult to do, and it doesn't take that long to finish this earring. You're going to be breezing through this in no time. We're going to skip the next one and we're going to put it in this one. See how it's starting to look? Get your next bead. Slide the bead up. Yarn over. Skip the next stitch. Single crochet. Oops, gotta do that one over. Skip the next stitch and crochet in the next. Slide your next bead, yarn over, and it's gonna feel a little awkward at first, especially when the stitches start to feel like they're tightening, but that's what you want. You want your stitches as you go closing the middle. You want them to be a little tighter than the last row, because you know that's the whole object, to make your inside smaller. And we're going to go into the next one. Next bead, yarn over, skip that one, go into the next one. Next bead, yarn over, crochet in the next one. Okay, now that we all know it's midnight, my owl is howling. I have a clock that has 12 different birds on it, and for every hour that particular bird will sing his song. It's midnight. The owl sings at midnight. Okay, next bead, we're going to skip that one and crochet into the next. Now we have one more bead here and only one stitch left. What we're going to do is, we're not going to leave it without a bead. We're going to pull the bead up, and being that we stitched only 2 on this side in the second row and we skipped the stitch, we want it to sort of look the same on this side also. So you can play with it. If it looks awkward to you, you can pull it out and change it, make it maybe single crochet it or half double crochet. I usually half double crochet, and I half double crochet in that space right there. I usually put my needle in that space right there so it can look sort of like the other side. So I put the bead on and I'm gonna half double crochet that last stitch. And there you go. Now they all look kind of alike, and we're gonna just do a chain 1 to secure it, and then being very careful not to unthread our beads that we still have left on the chain. We're gonna cut and then just tie this up so our beads are secured on there for our next earring. If you need more beads, the same amount of beads for your next earring, You count what you have on here and then add more if you need more. You have to do that before you start crocheting the next earring. And then we're gonna tie in our loose ends with with our needle and hide them. And then we're going to put our jump ring. I'm gonna hold that there, my other plier, and we're gonna open this up here. We're gonna get our hook, and we're going to put it in the middle there, and we're going to close our jump ring up. And there we have our earring, ladies. There you go. Isn't it pretty? Came out really nice. I hope you guys enjoy it. Bye.